Everybody's favorite outlet just got blacklisted by Nintendo. Oh, yeah, that's right. Kotaku, one of the worst journalistic websites I've ever seen. They tend to write tabloid style articles about video games, about YouTubers, about movies, about anywhere they can get that clickbait title possible. And now Nintendo has come out right out and said it. Pretty much, you're blacklisted. You're no longer allowed to cover our game. You're no longer allowed to cover our product because they sat there and they told people to go emulate and steal the newest versions of Metroid Dread. Now, emulation is a whole new topic. It's a whole new thing. And apparently it's making the rounds in stories. How from one person where they can't mod because Nintendo takes issue to that, to another one where a person by the name of Gary Bowser went to jail and got over $10 million worth of fines for stealing copyrighted material from Nintendo and showing people how to set up chipsets in consoles to steal it. But now Kotaku, they sat there on day one of Metroid Dread being released saying, you can emulate this and you don't have to pay the big dollars. Well, before I get fully into this story, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want to help support the channel, there is Patreon and memberships down below. Also, I do raise money for the Edmonton Stollery Hospital through Extra Life, so if you guys can, please donate to the Extra Life link in the description of this video. Any little bit for that helps drastically. We have a goal of $6,000. So this story starts out with the senior reporter at Kotaku pretty much having a meltdown on Twitter. From American Truck Songs 9, Ethan Gak, is that his actual name? It's preview day for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, a huge game I would love for Kotaku to be able to inform its millions of readers. You don't have millions of readers, I don't believe that anymore, about firsthand. Unfortunately, Nintendo still has it blacklisted from advance coverage, a move I would argue is both unprofessional and coercive. Well, maybe if you didn't piss off everybody in the gaming world, people might have some sympathy for you being blacklisted. Maybe if you actually had some journalistic integrity that you sat there and got outraged over for it being on a sign at a convention, forcing them to remove it. Maybe if you could take things with a little grain of salt as that journalistic integrity sits there and erodes away at the brain maggot that's in your head, maybe, just maybe, they would come to the table and let you cover it. But you don't do things very well. You don't do things in a light that anyone wants to read. People get upset. Your articles are clickbait, and those don't want to read it. So why would I go to the site? I'm going to use archives because that's what everyone does with your articles, Kotaku. No one wants to give you that traffic, even though you say you have 1 million people reading your articles. Is that daily? Is that yearly? Is that how many people go through? I don't know. I'm somewhere at 300,000 views for across all my videos. I shouldn't say anything that overwhelming because I don't have the same level of your standards where you sink so low that it just gets into that clickbait territory. Metroid Dread is already running great on Switch emulators. This came out on pretty much the day Metroid Dread was released. They were like, yeah, this is how you go get a Metroid Dread emulator. Hey, real quick, if you're a Nintendo lawyer or employee, just like, don't read this. It was a silly mistake. Ignore this blog. You can go on now. Okay, everyone else. So you're poking fun at Nintendo in this article, telling Nintendo to go pound sand, and then you tell readers, go emulate the game that they just released. Metroid Dread was originally released on October 8th, but copies got out into the wild a few days before that, and even after such a short time, the game is now fully playable 4K via various Nintendo Switch emulators. This has been one of those issues that where a lot of companies have with the emulation of video games. It was Sony versus Bleem at the time that actually made the precedent, saying emulators are good. It's the distribution of the copyrighted raw material is the tough part. You're not allowed to make profit. You're not really allowed to dispute it or put it out there on the market. But at the same time, you're allowed to play it if you're able to get your hands on it. So it's kind of one of those catch-22s in the legal world. But this put the big shining beacon light for Nintendo to tell Kotaku to go to hell. And it's not like the first time Kotaku has ever gotten into trouble with game developers. Bethesda also has them on their back burner, on their blacklisted material, mostly because they leaked Fallout 4 and they went, oh, hey, why are you doing this to us? Why are you leaking this game? Oh, we might have to cancel this game now. Well, at least it came out. But that put them on the back burner as well. So how many more things does Kotaku have to do to know to the gaming world that they've done wrong? I don't know. When developers and YouTubers and gamers alike just don't like the site, they just don't go there. It speaks highly of itself. Myself, I've never really been a fan of Kotaku and even Polygon recently, because they're trying to turn The Legend of Zelda gay, even though Nintendo turned around and refuted that and said, that's not a thing. Video I did on it as well. Now, where do we go from here? Kotaku, are you going to smarten up? Are you going to actually gain favor of these developers? I honestly don't know what's going to happen, but no one has any sympathy over your meltdown on Twitter and the way you guys treat the rest of the world without having that sense of haha humor out there. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, come to me for news. I try to tell it like it is. Have a great day, especially you guys over at Kotaku.